So Richard introduced us, and we clicked right away. And after that, I think we decided we could. Well, back then I was also curating for budding artists at alternative art spaces. But then after meeting Billy, he has a space, and he actually offered to help showcase our works. So I think from there things started to flow. Yeah. And for the series that I'm actually featuring in this exhibition, I've been planning for a couple of years. And I felt that the space here, the energy, the feel of the space, because of the gallery owner, is very suitable for me to exhibit whatever I want to show here. It works well. So therefore, we were talking about it, and he actually asked whether I would like to showcase my works here as well. And then he was very kind. So I can't say no. Yeah, because I really like the space as well.
So Francis, yeah. Where do you draw your inspiration in your art? Who were your heroes?
Honestly speaking, not to be proud, but I don't have heroes. I admire certain artworks by certain artists, but I never had a hero. But for this series of functional wear, it's actually inspired by my childhood experiences, my environment. So it's a bit of a story. If you're interested to listen, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Yes, but so sure. Tell us, what's your biggest challenge while creating your art series?
Greatest challenge, I would say many a times, because artists we constantly are challenged economically. Yeah. Sometimes we tend to think of what sells, and that's bad. Yeah, that really affects the honesty in the work. We tend to think too much then if we go that direction. So I think the challenge is really to pull ourselves back into what really means, what our work really means to us, and what we honestly feel for when we create our artwork. So that challenge of being very honest to ourselves and the work. Yeah, I would say that is the greatest challenge. And the rest will just flow in if we cross that hurdle. Yeah.
Now, what's the message that you want to come across to your audience when they see your artwork? What would you like to tell them a story about?
Well, I think till date, my works try to kind of reflect the natural phenomenon of our cosmos. We're entering into the more esoteric realms of things. Yeah. How we should actually be very humble to accept this constant agitation, constant turbulence, and find our equilibrium. Yeah, amidst all the chaos. Yeah, I think that's to date what my work attempts to show. Yeah.
So, what's next for you after this?
What's next? Okay, honestly speaking, I actually work on many mediums, many genres. Ceramic functional wear is just one of my practices. I'm currently actually trying to work around constraints to produce large sculptures in my studio, and at the same time I'm working on some paintings, and I actually have many things that I'm working on.
There's one question that came in from online news, and that is, why do you choose to have a life or pursue a life of an artist? What was the factor that you do this despite the challenges that you face here in Singapore?
Well, there's a sort of a cynical joke. I would say I hear voices. I've heard voices, therefore I turn into fine art. But it probably has to go back to my life story. But do you have time?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, when I was a kid, My parents were not really migrants, but my father was here working in Singapore. We were all from Hong Kong. So my mother tries to put us through a lot of classes to expose us to many facets of life. So I took music lessons, I took art lessons. I never stayed long in any of those lessons. Then later on, through secondary school, I hated art, really literally hated art. Because whatever I did, the teachers thought that I was working, I thought working out of the box was a good thing, right? But I didn't score well because I worked out of the box. So I kind of hated it. Never have I imagined myself back then to do art. So I went into engineering, marine engineering. My father was an aircraft engineer. Because I went into engineering because I thought I could only do hands-on things. But midway through marine engineering, I suddenly felt, it's a very strange thing. So now trying to answer your question, why I decided to take on art despite all the challenges. Back then, we were not aware of the challenges. I just felt I needed to do art. Yeah.
So, what advice would you give for aspiring artists who wants to pursue in your path? What would be the 3 key advice you could give?
I think the best advice would be to be very honest to yourself, whether you want it or not. Maybe not the word want. Whether you need this. When you need something, you will just keep going regardless of obstacles and challenges. You realize whether you belong to this. Yeah, you will realize when you try. Yeah, if you don't try hard enough, in the end, it means it's just not for you.
All right. And so, how can our viewers find more information? Do you have a Facebook or a website?
Currently working on it. I've got friends to help. Very blessed these few years. I've met with friends who are helping me with many things. I will not say that I'm actually kind of IT challenged, despite being in the new age. But yeah, I've got very good friends. So I'm just looking forward to them finishing whatever they say they're trying to help me with. Yeah.
So Francis, thank you for joining us here at the Natural Critics' Choice Online News. And
thank you very much.
Folks, so please do come by to Imagine Heart Gallery here in Singapore at 59A. 59A Ju Chet Place.
Yeah.
And once again, I'm Robin Stienberg. Thank you for joining me here with Francis.
Thank you.